Cowboys fall to 2-3-1 just because they just want to have that kind of record. The Cowboys feel like a 2-3-1 team. The Panthers beat them, though. This is also a credit to the Panthers. Panthers winning 30-27. I want to ask what's going on with the Cowboys, but can I just share a stat with you? This was the highest rushing success rate that the Cowboys defense has allowed in a game since at least 2013, including playoffs. At least 2013. So potentially the highest ever rushing. 68.6% of opposing teams' runs were, or the Panthers' runs today were successful. And it's not like they did on like 15 carries. Rico Dowdle had 30 carries for 183 yards. He had 20 successful runs today. Wasn't stuffed once. He had 4 runs of 10 or more yards. That's the issue with this Cowboys defense. But what else did you have? What else did you think of this game? Because that's what just popped out to me, was just the jabs to the face that this defense just took for 4 quarters.
I wanted to see in this, going into this game, like, all right, how bad is this Cowboys defense? Because like we will learn right now with some of the stuff that Carolina has put on tape this year. And look, I know they're 3-3. I know they beat my favorite team 30-0. They're not. That's not a good football team. Like it's obviously not a good football team. And man, I felt like every time I was looking over at that game when the Panthers were on the field on offense, they were just ripping up and down the field. It looked easy for Bryce Young. It certainly looked easy for Rico Dowdle, who basically predicted this performance last week going against his whole team, and definitely feels some type of way about not being in Dallas anymore. And I guess I kind of feel him on that. But shout out to him for getting that dub today. I just don't even know where you go from here if you're Dallas. I guess you just kind of keep toughing this season out, but you're looking at even next year when you start to have pieces to rebuild this defense. You're so far away when you're getting cut up by Bryce Young and where that Panthers offense has been for the majority of the season. So it's a good thing they have Dak Prescott, because if not, I mean, none of these games would be even close to competitive. They're in a really, really bad spot on defense, and I think it's kind of embarrassing that they even let it get this bad. Because now, honestly, I'm looking at this and saying, even if you had Micah Parsons, this defense is still probably going to struggle, because you throw in but that's how far away they are. Like, you could throw Micah Parsons back into this defense, and it definitely changes some, and you can probably close out some games a little bit better. But man, you're still not good on that side of the ball. Still really, really not good.
And I'm just like looking at them, and it's not like, that's the thing, is they're so light up front, and now, they could make a living like that by, okay, you get a bunch of big plays, it's boom or bust against the run. That's kind of how they played before. Unless, they had Jonathan Hankins or when Leighton Vander Esch was still there, like at linebacker. But right now it's like the spine is just small, like not making plays. I like Osa Odigizua, but he's a gap shooter. Kenny Clark has always, that's why the Packers have a run game woes for years, not just because of him, but partially because he, go rogue. He'll backdoor some stuff and leave a gap open. And it's not like the ends are very big. Fowler has always been a pass rush first kind of guy. Azaraku, who I like, is a little light in the pants as well. Like those guys just aren't big players that can just hold up. And you're going against a Panthers team that just wants to run it on you 100 times. So of course they're not going to change the game plan. They're just going, all right, 6 yards, fine, we'll take that. They're tight ends like Tommy Tremble, who also tried to high knee a guy, like his name was Bruce Beefcake. He was steamrolling their D ends. It's like, Tommy Tremble, he's always been like a feisty blocker. He's not the biggest guy though. And it's just like, so it's not even just the interior of that Panthers O-line just road grading the interior of the Cowboys defensive line. It was a little bit, it was just across the board. And it's not like the linebackers are cleaning it up. So it's just like you said, it's like, all right, what now? Like, what are you going to do? Like that's not like a player or two away. That's like a whole reset. Like, are you going to go with Eberflus in the future? Like Eberflus, like his forte is having, solid players and then just kind of being very sound and making the offense be perfect. But if your guys aren't sound and they're letting up busts to like Jimmy Horn Jr., like then it's just big play on top. It's bend and break, like that's not doing anything. Yeah. And he's not he's done some cool blitz stuff when he was in Chicago. It's not like the craziest thing to see him, but he had some good blitz packages, but that's not like what he wants to do. Like, it's not like Todd Bowles that's like, okay, cool, I get to blitz 40 times, over Rex Ryan or something. It's like, oh, he's like, no, that's gritted teeth he wants to blitz. So again, it's just like, all right, what's your game plan here? I mean, please stop like ignoring like the defensive tackle position as far as size. Like, get some beef in there, please. You guys needed it for half a decade now, as long as I've been in media. But going back to the Panther stuff, also Cowboys too. Offense is sick. Still like the offense. Run game was a little iffy today, but Dak is on fire. Pickens is on fire. He still has chemistry with Ferguson. But yeah, still like you said, so it's like the Cowboys and Dak are like the offense are getting it done. It's just this defense, man. Like, why did you let Jordan Lewis go away? Like, go to the Jacksonville? I just don't get it. Any other closing thoughts on this game? Where do you Panthers can either of these teams make a wild card? Do you think, Charles? Sorry to put you on the spot, but we're 1/3 through the season. Either of these teams.
I was my instant gut reaction was to say absolutely not, but the Panthers, I mean, the NFC South, I don't know. The Falcons are a weird team. They already beat them once, so if you can beat them again, you got the tiebreaker. The Saints are really, really in the dumpster, so maybe they could get to the wild card. Cowboys, I don't know. They just let Bryce Young score 30 points on them, rip up and down the field, and it looked easy, man. So I just don't think they can get to the playoffs, which is a shame because this is easily the best I've seen Dak Prescott ever play in his career, which is really saying something. Like, even a couple years ago when he was considered for MVP, basically right until the last couple weeks of the season. Yeah, he's been better this year, and it's just a waste. It's going to nothing.
Oh no, he's been great. It's the best version of him. It's all the pre-snap stuff. He's not trying to do too much because he trusts his guys. His connection with Pickens is perfect. It's exactly what you want it to be. I think he's playing just great. I totally agree with you on that. Like, that's why it's a shame. I think their offense is good enough to make a run, like where they just are a funky 9-8 team, 7 seed, and just Looney Tunes team, as you would put it sometimes. Then you look at the schedule. It's like, all right, Commanders, Broncos, Cardinals, okay, Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs, okay, that's the next 6 weeks. Panthers go Jets, Bills, Packers, Saints, Falcons, and then their close of their season is pretty rough. Well, 49ers now, but Rams, Saints, Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks. So
that's pretty tough. That's a
tough finish there.
For Carolina. Yeah. God damn.
Not a lot of L's on those last couple of teams. But I think the Cowboys could, even with this crappy defense. I've seen crappy defenses with a great offense get into the playoffs, and they play an offense that can do that because it's run game and pass game kind of connected. So I don't know, weird teams, and I do want to rewatch this game from the Panthers side because I'm encouraged by some of the stuff I saw. Tetro McMillan only had a couple catches, or 3 catches, and they were eventful. 2 touchdowns, and then also one of his targets turned into a pick. So eventful day for him, but he still looks great. I still like the tight ends, Evans, still like Tremble. Yeah, interesting team still. All right, let's get on a low number 2. Dolphins tumble to 1-5 to the Chargers, which is both of these teams just live in this world. It was just like a no, I insist type of game from both teams. No, I insist. You win this game. No, I insist. You win this game. Chargers win 29-27. Tua had 3 picks. Herbert had a great play at the end, shaking off a tackle, hits Ladd McConkey for a catch and run. Had other brilliant moments. Also had a bonkers throw into the end zone, which I was asking what you were doing. I would say actually the highlight of this game for me was J.K. Scott, the punter for the Chargers, making a great hold on the game-winning field goal. I was so excited. I scared a screenshot to our outline because I was like, hey, if you guys want to see this, it's pretty cool. But what now with the Dolphins? I'm starting there, Charles, because this is a low for them. 1-5, feel listless. Mike McDaniel press conferences are sad now. What are we feeling now?
Yo, Tua's out here calling people out for not going to players only meetings. I'm like, I know. Man, this is done. Shut up. Like this, but also like if you're getting to that point, Tua, that means they don't respect you, dude. Like that's the point. Why are you telling
the context
us that?
Of it?
You're telling the whole world they don't like you. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, this team isn't good enough. But I think when you look at the money, Tua still might be their quarterback next year, even with a new head coach and GM, just because of when the extension money starts kicking in. So, it's useless. It just feels like it's a waste of time watching them play, because they get kind of close and then they just don't have nearly enough talent on defense. I mean, dude, Chargers run game, like they had probably their best game under Harbaugh and Roman today without Hampton and without most of their starting offensive line in the game. So that kind of says all you need to know. And the last thing I have on this game is for the last stragglers out there on the Tua versus Herbert war. I love how to close the game, you just got a perfect summation of how different they are. Herbert closed up in the arms of Jalen Phillips, throws him off, and you get the like a laser to Ladd McConkey, who makes someone miss the open field for a big play. And then Tua's last play is clean pocket, just throws it, little guppy throwing the double coverage, and it gets picked off to close the game to Derwin James. And bang, that's the difference between those two guys right there. And I feel bad for the Dolphins fans who have to watch that as they shed even more pieces next season.
Oh, yeah. Chubb's getting rumored as a trade piece already. You know, they got multiple guys, I'm sure. Bradley Chubb's just the trade edge, apparently the traded edge. What you mentioned, though, Chargers O-line, it was like Greg Roman was like, just like, yes, I can just put tight ends on the field and run the ball. Like, this is great. They just stopped messing around. And they, in the second half, especially, it felt like they went 13 personnel with 3 tight ends a bunch. 16 plays. I looked it up. 95 yards, 1 touchdown. That Vidal bootleg touchdown that he had on the pass play in the red zone, but 50% success rate. So what you're saying, though, is just like when you go bully ball like that, that's just effort level. Like, that's what defense is. It's like, all right, how much strength do you guys have and how much heart do you guys have? And it was just like, oof, they were just getting after him on it. Tuipulotu is having a breakout year. He had a great sack near the end of the game as well. And it just felt like, in the weirdest way, the Chargers have a tendency to just botch these games. And it just felt like, well, they're playing the Dolphins, though, which is so crazy to think about going against that team. And I know, like, Achane's touchdown, that was a great design with the pin pull touchdown and all that. But, like, so it's like Mike McDaniel is still good. But it was like, I watched that touchdown. I was like, oh, this stuff is still good. The formation's still good. Like, they motion this guy out, and then Julian Hill at tight end pins it. Aaron Brewer's out in space. Achane's untouched touchdown. I'm like, God, there's some good stuff here. So I ask you, if he's fired, where do you want him to be the offensive coordinator at? You can't say the Falcons. I'm taking away the Falcons.
I was about to say, after Zach Robinson goes to take the Oklahoma State job and makes a terrible mistake that makes him a lot of money, I was going to say, because he got asked about it, and he basically just gave a non-answer about that. It's like, all right,
right,
so
which is,
we know what's going on there, right? Yeah. Oh man, I think, that's a good question. Where would I like to see Mike McDaniel if he gets fired? Man, maybe Las Vegas could be fun. Assuming, like, if they kind of just clean house at the end. Shoot, I don't know.
It's the highest paid OC. Just get him out and just make Mike McDaniel. Just give him the
I don't think Marcus doing that, actually. Maybe Tennessee could be fun.
No, hey, Las Vegas Aces just won. He's flush.
That is true. That is true.
Take that.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. Maybe Tennessee could be fun because they got some pieces of the offensive line, and I still maintain that, look, you're just going to have to eat this year with Cam Ward, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You just have to eat this year. It is what it is.
Like that. No, that's a good one. I know. I haven't really totally thought fully on this even when I asked it, so I actually think that's the best answer. Yeah, Tennessee. I would go with that one too, because I think that would actually be a great fit with Cam Ward as well. So yeah, that's a good answer. I'm gonna co-opt it. All right. We're getting on to low number 3, closing out the show. And that's the Steelers win. And the AFC North might be wrapped up by Halloween. It kind of feels like a low, because this felt like it was going to be such a competitive division, and just want. The Steelers win 23-9. They're 4-1. Only team above 500. Aaron Rodgers finishes 21 of 30, 235 yards, couple touchdowns, including a great ball to DK Metcalf over on the sideline. That was like, oh yeah. And a couple moments where he's still spinning it. It's kind of a Diet Coke version. You know, he can't really move that well. But Steelers O-line didn't give up a lot of pressures. Only give up 10 pressures. No. Rodgers wasn't sacked once, which is the big difference. But Steelers, likely AFC North champs. Charles, how are we feeling about that right now?
It feels pretty safe. I think I'll give Lamar 1 week when he gets back. See if they can win a game. But, they're 1-5, you know?
I know.
and it just doesn't feel like they obviously don't have enough juice on defense. And like we know Lamar, when he gets back, that alone can put them back into scoring 30+ points a game, and maybe that can make him a wild card team. But still, that it's just a far way to go. So I'm not going to say it's over now. We'll just wait to see if Lamar can just week by week just kind of try and claw their way back into it when he gets back. But that's such a hard proposition. It is probably going to end up going to the Steelers. And man, just what a terrible division to see. I mean, look, you can't foresee. I don't think any of us foresaw the Ravens having the worst defense in football, plus getting decimated, plus Lamar getting hurt. Maybe some people foresaw Joe Burrow getting hurt, but even then, like for him to miss as much time as he's going to miss, that's obviously a huge stinker. And then the Browns, they let Dylan Gabriel drop back 58 times today for like 3 yards per drop back. And man, that was really tough to watch. It was so boring. There are very few times where like I find like football boring, but when you're doing like the high completion percentage, like high drop backs, 3 yards per pass, that to me is like football at its absolute worst. And that seems to be where they are. As long as Dylan Gabriel's a starter. And look, I know that we're going to do the Shador thing. I just don't see how you could reasonably say that you could guarantee he'd be better. Last time I saw him play, he got sacked on 6 on 5 of his 11 dropbacks, and he had negative 20-something passing yards. Come on. Like, this is just what it is. It's going to be bad. It's going to be nasty. And neither one of them is going to be the starting quarterback next season.
Yeah, they were getting the tape out on Dylan Gabriel. They're like, we're making sure. We're going to check every type of pass. Can you throw this one? Can you throw this one? Yeah, 3.8 yards per dropback, 4.3 yards per attempt, 58 dropbacks, 221 yards. Don't even have to look at the scrambling yards because he didn't scramble. So don't push the ball, not scrambling. It's the opposite of Baker. That's kind of basically what he is. Sacked 6 times, but I also looked this up on True Media. This is the 6th most dropbacks in a game by a rookie since 2013, which is kind of like the last verified year for True Media. But that's the most since Tua in week 17 of his rookie year in 2020 against the Bills. So that felt like a lot of dropbacks for a rookie, and it was a lot of dropbacks for a rookie, especially Dylan Gabriel. And it was like nothing felt like anything was outside the numbers. It was all over the middle of the field in between the hashes, which isn't the worst thing, but also it's like, can you push it outside? So yeah, again, I wouldn't recommend starting Shador either because I agree with you based on what I saw at the end of the season or end of preseason. And I just think Gabriel actually like does some things to give you a chance, but it's just such a young team and such an incomplete team right now, like full blown rebuild team that I feel like there's going to be a lot of this. I'm just with the Steelers. I'm just like, this feels like the Tomlin special plus, Rodgers can do enough. This is the best QB they've had in years. And it's like average, which is like, again, before the season, that's kind of like what I was saying would be a good year. If he finishes as the 18th best quarterback in the NFL, I think they can function because the O-line is playing decent. It's not the sexiest offense. You got Darnell Washington, the mountain that rides, going for big plays down the field. A lot of Jonnu Smith, but they're getting it done. And then like they can do enough on offense, and then the defense kind of was finding its way. But again, you're going against the Browns, so gotta kind of like need more data points to like make any bold statements about where I'm at with the Steelers defense. They played the Bengals on Thursday night, so great. And then we got the Packers after. I know, right? I know. That was like, oh, yeah, just kind of defeated this whole thing. Then they got the Packers Sunday night. That'll be fun. Then they go Colts, Chargers, Bengals again, Bears. Okay, so they got a funky schedule. And then Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens again.
Okay, so like, there it is. That's where they end up, 10-7 or 11-6 after getting off to such a hot start. That's where it is.
You mapped it out right there. Yeah, just that.
Yeah, but as soon as you started saying, I heard Ravens and Bills, I was like, oh, there it is. There it is.
Ravens, Bills, Bears, Lions. They got Ravens twice in December and January. So if Lamar does come back healthy, that's the like Ravens push for this anything. But the Bengals are a mess, even though they had a little heart today. Then we got the Browns or the Browns, but it's basically if the Ravens just have to get healthy or Lamar has to get healthy for anything to happen. And then other than that, though, it's the Steelers and Tomlin and Rodgers magic. We got a Myles Garrett quote today from Mary Kay Cabot. Asked Myles Garrett if it's harder and harder to dig deep and keep pressing on amid the losing like it was for Browns Joe Thomas. And he just said, yep. So
hey, Miles, Miles, no one told you to sign that contract, man.
No.
And it was funny because people are going, money. Why'd he sign that? Money. He's literally Myles Garrett. We just saw Michael Parsons do the same thing, right? And he got a lot more than Jerry was going to pay him. If you forced your way to the market and you are Myles Garrett, you can get paid more than what Cleveland paid you, and you can play for a better team. But I like the only nail that I need closed on this door is, what plan did they possibly sell you on, Myles, to come back to this?
When he said he approved of the quarterback plan, was it? Yeah.
What was the plan? If this was it, then you can't be trusted. Come on. You, as someone who hits quarterbacks as much as he does, should know a bad one when he sees one.
I know. It was and he's played so well against the run this year, and then today he was kind of, I want to watch what the game plan was. I want to see how they kept him out of the game, but it's one of those things where even when he signed in, he said that quote originally, it was like, and it got everybody excited, and then it was like, this is the plan. Okay. All right, move on. But